Hello, everyone. In today's podcast, we are covering one of the most important topic for accounting firm owners. How can you transform your accounting firm into an advisory-led business, and that is also without being dependent on yourself? Today, I have my co-host Kashish, co-founder of Exfynia, with me, who will lead the discussion around finance and AI and how technology is transforming the future of accounting. I'll be covering the other side of the equation, how you can free yourself from day to day dependency and how you can build a scalable and sellable advisory firm. So, without any further delay, our very special guest joining us from the UK, Mr. Tim, who brings valuable experience and insights into building, scaling, and selling his own accounting and advisory firm. So let's dive into the conversation.
So, Tim, first of all, welcome to the podcast. We are so glad to have you here. So, you have built businesses, coached firms, and now you are helping accounting firms move beyond compliance, which is such a great space to dig into. So, let's start from the beginning. Please tell us how your journey unfolded.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me on here as well. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I worked in industry for quite a long time, working in as a management accountant, and then I got to the point where I wanted to flex my own muscles, should we say, and start my own accountancy firm, which is what I did, and I ran it for 17 years, and I went through lots of low moments, lots of high moments, as we go through these peaks and troughs of running a business. We learn to be an accountant. We don't necessarily learn how to run a business, and so you learn some valuable lessons along the way,
Right.
especially pricing for compliance at the beginning. I priced way too low, as I learned fairly quickly. So I went through some kind of emotions of finding my way, and I built up. I quickly got clients, but I found that I was working long hours. And there was one particular night that I recall that I was face planted on my desk. All the lights had gone out around the other offices around where I was. All the cars had gone apart from mine. And I thought, there's got to be something better than what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And that was kind of the moment where I thought, I've got to do something other than compliance, because this is just too much now. It's becoming too time consuming. I'm hitting the ceiling. I had an accountant working for me as well, but I was still everything was still dependent on me. So that was kind of where I got to. I started to find a way of delivering advisory, and it kind of changed everything for me, because I was able to have conversations with clients that were meaningful, as opposed to delivering, here's your accounts, here's how much tax you have to pay, and get the usual questions back. But why am I paying tax? I haven't got any money. Where's the money to show for it? All those kind of questions that we get. Um, Delivering the advisory was providing me with a way to have proactive conversations with the clients. And as I started to work a little bit closely in that way, and some of the clients really got invested in finding out more and seeing how we could help them achieve their outcomes, I was able to increase fees quite nicely, because the outcomes that they were starting to achieve were helpful in the fact that there was more value being delivered. So the compliance side, I left with the accountant, and I really focused on advisory.
Mhm.
I got to a point, fortunately for me, that I was able to sell the compliance side of the business off, continue with advisory, and then I transitioned into running a membership of accountants and bookkeepers for 4 years, where I help them deliver particular strategies, and help them become advisors in their businesses, which was really worthwhile and really meaningful work for me. I really enjoyed that ripple effect of them telling us the stories of helping their clients. And then from there, but I found a common problem, and I've identified it with my business partner now, Deb Halliday, that we were seeing that, yes, the business owners were delivering advisory, but they were only delivering to a handful of clients. They were only going so far with it. So this problem kind of sat with us. And that's, I believe, what we're going to be talking about a little bit more. as we go. So sorry, I don't want to take up too much time in my history, but it's been quite a few years,
Right.
I'm afraid.
Right, it's a long journey, Tim. So
Yeah.
obviously, and the best part is, that you have told us that, you have got the clients quickly. So I wish that for all the startups in, so that was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Tim, I was just, scrolling your profile and wanted to know more about Tim. Okay. So, one thing, one statement that clicked, like, your profile says something very interesting. The owner becomes the bottleneck, and your book is also around it. You and Deb have authored that book. So, what is that around? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, what John? What happens is accountants start their business all around compliance, and they build up, and then they suddenly realise I can't do this all myself. So they hire accountants, bookkeepers, etc., different levels to take care of the client side, and then perhaps they hire a tax specialist. That's perfectly normal. Everyone understands that. That's how accounting and the bookkeeping practices operate. What happens with advisory is they see the carrot in front of them that they can deliver advisory, earn more money. Isn't this fantastic? But they take it on themselves. The owner believes they're the only person capable of delivering this high value advisory, partly because it's their business, their responsibility, and partly because they've built the business around the clients wanting to talk to them because they're the face of the business, which is quite right.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
of course, it creates a problem in itself. So
Yes.
what
Mm.
I see is they start to deliver advisory. They do really well. They have some great conversations. They're really pleased with how it's going. And then you say to them, you have your meetings with them, and you say to them, "How's it going? Have you brought any more clients on board?" No, I don't feel ready to take on any more clients with advisory right now. And they get stuck. They sort of plateau at 5 or 6 clients. That they're delivering monthly strategy sessions for. That doesn't necessarily say that's worldwide, but it's what I've seen with all the accounting and bookkeepers that I've worked with over the years. Um, so in a way, they remove themselves from the bottleneck of compliance, but they create another bottleneck for advisory. So myself and Deb have written advisory teams because we believe the power of your team is a lot more powerful than perhaps as an owner we realize and we've thought about. We probably value them very highly as people, but perhaps we don't realize the skills and the different perspectives that they can bring to the table when talking to a client. And my theory is 5 brains are better than 1 brain, because one brain only sees one channel and goes down one direction. 4 or 5 other brains might have a different perspective, a different ideology, and a different thought process. So if you put them all together, won't the client receive the greater outcomes sooner that they're looking to achieve? Because at the end of the day, the job with advisory is to help the clients achieve the outcomes they want to achieve. Because at the moment, most likely they're an employee to their business, like most people that set businesses up. Don't get me wrong, we know 5% of people will be massively successful and don't need to hear any of this. But the majority of businesses are breaking even, making a small profit, some making a loss. So it's our job as accountants and bookkeepers to help change this. And this is an
Okay.
opportunity, I feel.
Great, 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 team. So here, see, you advocate more towards the advisory firms to shift their focus from accounting to advisory. So do you feel like is there any growth ceiling or some kind of a ceiling in their mind, which is stopping them to take any actions to scale and build a scalable accounting firm?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a confidence issue for a lot of people. We're all the same at the end of the day, and we all do things, and then we look back and think, I can't believe I've done that. It doesn't
Okay.
feel like I've achieved anything, but I kind of have, and I think we all feel like that. You know, Running an accounting practice is a massive achievement in itself. And I
Okay.
honestly, genuinely, and I mean this, I actually do congratulate everyone who's made that step and
Okay.
has built a firm and they're employing people. It's a valuable service that they're providing. But I do believe that the practice owners do have a kind of block, perhaps if we call it that, where they don't believe they can go to the next level. when actually they can, and actually their life will be so much easier if they do get through that hurdle. So part of advisory teams is about leadership and about how you can channel these skills to actually empower your team. And part of our, I know we're not here to talk about the programs, but as you've asked the question, we've got someone, a partner called Exfynia, who helps us with belief coding for the practice owners to overcome those hurdles of our own mindset and our own blockers that we put inside our
Okay.
mind.
So your team is there means because in advisory these the professionals get less the attracting the right audience or attracting the clients get difficult. It may be they feel like it is a challenge to bring a new advisory client. So do you feel like because of the lead generation thing they are not venturing into the or maybe not transforming into the advisory firm?
I think there's an argument for both sides of this. I think yes, they need to put themselves out there more and market the fact that they can offer this advisory service. But clients don't know what advisory means, so it's kind of a term that we use within the accounting industry. I don't think we need to share that with clients. I think we need to talk about what we can deliver for them, how we can move them forward.
Okay.
Through my experience, John, I
Mhm.
found that most firms
Mhm.
have got golden nuggets of clients within their client base already, and
Okay.
they don't realize it because they're not talking to them in the way that
Okay.
they need to talk to them.
So is this the problem is more related to the communication?
Yeah, I don't think clients realize
Okay.
what there is on offer from
Okay.
their accountants. I actually do believe that they can find this out from holding conversations. To the power of a conversation, of sharing knowledge, of listening to what your client's talking about, understanding the issues they have, and then perhaps coming up with some ideas about how they could move forward. And
Okay.
clients can only take one step at a time. If you give them too many things to do,
Okay.
they won't do them. They'll overwhelm. If you give them one step at a time, they can take them. So
Okay.
I firmly believe that we have all these clients within our business, and some of them, not all of them. We know there's going to be ones that's not going to be worth having a conversation with. They're going to find some, but of course, then once you've done that and you start to achieve some success, you've then got stories to tell out on LinkedIn, out on Instagram and TikTok, whatever you're using, to be able to share that message that you've helped people with this information. And then comes your lead generation opportunity because you've built up
Correct.
that
Correct.
experience and you've had some success.
Correct, correct, correct. So, Tim, here my point is, see, when I see the picture, like you in the US, I will say there is a lots of practitioners. They are starting out with the fractional CFO services, or maybe in India there is a term similar to the fractional CFO. It is called over here virtual CFO. So, when they introduce the advisory things in their services, but they feel stuck or maybe they feel they get failed. What is that thing that you feel like because of this particular reason this professional or maybe the practitioner is not able to achieve that goal to scale their advisory? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, again, pricing would be the answer to this question. If you're
Okay.
a fractional
Okay.
CFO, what are you charging? How many people can you serve? To achieve the amount of money you want to earn from your business. So I would be looking at in that scenario. Do the fractional CFOs have teams beneath them, or are we talking sort of um, sort of sole trading CFOs?
Okay, okay. So as you mentioned, your partner is also helping in the belief system and the mindset things. So can we conclude like first and foremost thing is the mindset shift that is required for the founder to start with?
Yeah, everybody's got something that's holding them back.
Okay.
So with the belief code, now I'm not the expert on this. Hetty Vernier is the expert on this, so I don't want to
Okay.
steal her thunder. But what I do know is that
So we'll have
how
to
it
invite her then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, how it works, I understand, is that something generally happens in your childhood that you don't
Okay.
really know about, and you unlock that, and it releases the negativity to create positive thinking to stop you from creating your own boundaries and your own ceilings. We all create these invisible ceilings that we can't get through, but
Okay.
but we actually can with a bit
Okay.
of help. So
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Yeah.
Uh, so Tim, here's something I think about a lot. Every firm today talks about advisory, right? But very few actually manage to build a successful advisory business out of it. So I'd love to unpack that with you. What does true advisory actually looks like in practice?
yeah. So for me, advisory is about holding a conversation with a client. It's about providing insights into what we're seeing. So in our position, we can see patterns in numbers. So it's not delivering management accounts and delivering statutory accounts. It's about seeing patterns, understanding the problems the business is suffering from, highlighting issues that you can see. Simple things you might see that the gross profit margins dropped, but the
Mhm.
sales have increased. Why is that? So to us, it's a very simple thing to see in a profit and loss. To the client, it's not. So it's helping them understand where the problems are,
Mhm.
helping them then solve that problem. But also, for me, it's always about looking forward. It's
Okay.
always about what next. What can we do next to help you achieve the next goal you want to achieve? How can we move you forward? So it's almost, I would call them a strategy session as opposed to advisory, if I'm honest. It would be my preferred term. But there's a way. Sometimes we can empower the client to make informed decisions themselves. Some people can go ahead and do that. Others will always want to have a conversation with us or our team to make sure that they're going down the right path. But what we want to see is business owners understanding and business owners being able to make informed decisions
Yeah.
and grow their business in the way they want to grow it. So to me, advisory is conversational. It has to be conversational. It's not something you can replicate through a report. I don't believe it's something you can replicate through AI, although we've got
Right.
that coming, because AI can't replicate the empathy and the emotion and emotional intelligence that a human can provide. And
Yeah.
that's where I think our greatest strength is in the conversation. So for me, advisory is understanding, listening,
Right.
providing some advice and some steps for that client to go away and take. And then they come back, you talk about what they've done, you troubleshoot if there's been issues, and then you move forward on to the next step and take them through again.
Right. And on the pricing side, how should firms be, thinking about pricing advisory differently from the compliance work?
Yeah, it's definitely value based for me. You should definitely be charging value based. It's very difficult if you're charging transactional for compliance to suddenly charge a ridiculously high fee for advisory.
Hmm.
So yeah, we see lots of people telling accountants and bookkeepers that they could be charging these massively high fees. But realistically, there's a starting point you have to make, and it's a gradual step by step process. You might charge a lower fee initially for your first sort of advisory clients as you start to feel your way and how you hold the conversations, how you deliver the advice. The successes you achieve will then determine the fact that you've got a couple of stories to tell the next few people. You can charge slightly higher. The
Hmm.
next group of people, you'll charge slightly higher again. That would be my process, is to always
Yeah.
gradually build. If you put too much pressure on yourself and charge a ridiculous fee like 2,000, £3,000 a month, you've got to deliver something wonderful for someone to be paying you that on an ongoing recurring monthly fee. So you start low, you gradually build up.
Yeah.
What I would do is say, if you move someone who's taking £25,000 a year out of their business to taking £75,000 a year out of
Mhm.
their business, what's that worth to them? Then you can reflect in what your value you're providing and how you can charge your fees. So
Yeah.
so it has to be based on value, but at the starting point, you have to start slow and build
Right.
up. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, would be my advice. It's one of the main problems that people do. They think they have to charge higher fees, and so they ultimately put pressure on themselves. They can't sell it
Hmm.
because it's a big step from what they were charging before, and they haven't got the confidence to provide that delivery. So start off slow, work up, gradually build your pricing up. Same as probably you did when you started with compliance, when you started your business.
Right.
It's a similar process.
So I think experience matters here. Once you start the
Yeah,
firm, right, you have the one client, then you get the experience, and I think the prospective clients are looking to us as well, that how much experience that advisory have is having. So according to that, also we should be thinking from their perspective as well, that what we have in our plate as of now.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think experience counts, but when we reflect into an advisory team, you may have someone who's fairly new,
Hmm.
who's recently qualified, who's looking at stuff with a completely fresh pair of eyes. That may just pop up a question that you think, do you know what? That's a brilliant question. After all my years of experience, I've just had a great question from
Right.
someone younger and fresher that we can now put to the client. So I would never dismiss lack of experience, but yes, I
Okay.
do agree with in the pricing concept. I totally agree.
Okay.
So team, thank you for highlighting this about this pricing and all. So here, see, I want to talk more about the the owner should be separate from his firm, right? So you mentioned that advisory firms that don't depend on one individual. So let's dive deeper in this and is it more towards the systems or processes which a firm or an advisory firm can establish so that it can help to scale their advisory firm to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, systems are key, aren't they, for any success really these days. You need to have a central pool. So if we're talking purely advisory, you need to have a central pool where information is gathered and information is put in. So if a client, if there's a particular client that's rang up with a question, somebody's picked the phone up, they've delivered the answer, that needs to go into the central pool so that everybody's aware that these questions are being answered, the questions being asked for start, because it might highlight somewhere else that this client actually needs help. Sometimes sometimes the question they ask isn't necessarily the deeper problem, but having that information is like gold dust. So yeah, there has to be a central pool of information. There has to be a database where everything gets logged. Um, but also, I mean, Deb Halliday, for instance, she had a WhatsApp group for every client with her team.
Okay.
So that sounds quite a lot. But if the client asked a question, anyone from the team could answer. If they thought it was a question, it would take over 10 minutes, then that would be a chargeable situation. Whereas answering a question over 10 minutes would be free. So there's a way of having a pool of that, understanding how you're going to deliver that kind of service. But also, yes, systems are key without doubt. I also believe that the advisory team, need to have regular meetings and discuss the clients so they could have that database open in front of them. They could be talking about what's happened throughout that latest period of time and how they're then going to deliver the next sort of session of advice to the client. When we say advisory teams, by the way, we don't necessarily mean all of them in a meeting with a client overwhelming them. Could still be one person delivering, but it could be anyone from the team at any given time because they all have the same knowledge, and that knowledge comes from shared resource and shared knowledge, which can come from the systems, but it also comes from the meetings and the conversations they have themselves. Does
Okay.
that kind of answer your question, John?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you, Tim. So here, after your, explanation about this, recently what happened with one of the chartered accountant. So he told me, so I am the coach for him. So he
Yeah.
told me, John, what is happening is that I share the things, I'm sharing the vision, I'm sharing the mission, everything is shared with the team. But I have to be present in the office and I'm not able to scale because of that. So here the challenge is every time the founder is with the team to encourage them, to inspire them, we have to do this, do that. So how this can be achieved? Like, is there any kind of method or practice which we can implement into the firm so that this firm can scale?
Yeah,
So for the
yeah.
team members, yeah.
So sorry. So we want to scale, but everything's dependent on the business owner. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the problem is every time for the see the firm is dependent on the team members, right? So you have mentioned we need a good team, right? So for
Yes.
this good team, the firm owner is presenting every time, every day he's taking the meetings, every day he's encouraging them, and when he is not in the office, the
Yes. Yeah.
team is not working, they are on the Instagram. So what one practitioner or the firm owner should do, that this can be, avoided, or this can be reduced.
Yes, so then there needs to be a leader within the team as well. So there
Correct.
needs to be
Yes,
someone
yes.
that can take ownership of that for the business owner. Because otherwise, if they're only going to do the work when the business owner's in the office, for instance, then it just falls apart when they go on holiday. What happens if they decide to go away for 3 weeks, on
Correct,
holiday,
correct. Yeah.
and then,
Hmm.
then nothing sounds like nothing's getting done. So
Nothing's getting
they
done.
need
Yes.
to identify a leader within the team, and that's really important to get that right, because obviously
Super,
the
super.
dynamic of the team changes when one becomes a leader, which can have a negative effect with people in the team if they think perhaps they should have been the leader. So it has to be handled very carefully, and it has to be handled understanding the emotions that we would all feel in those situations. But also, you have to be careful that you don't just identify one leader and then that
Mm-hmm.
leader becomes the bottleneck. So it's a very, do you understand? You have
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
careful you don't transfer bottlenecks down,
Right.
because they can happen anywhere within the business. So
Correct,
yeah,
correct,
there's
correct.
lots of skills that need to be
Right.
sort of helped with that. And in the book advisory teams, we do go through quite a lot of those sort of processes
Yeah.
that you can
So
work through.
Tim has connected that point why the owners have the bottleneck, which we have
Yes,
asked in
yes.
the initial stage. Yeah. Okay. So Tim, as I'm also associated with, Exfynia, which is also a growing firm. So what do you think? When should we start building leadership within our team?
So yeah, it depends where you're at with delivering advisory. So what we sort of suggest is that yes, the business owner needs to learn how to deliver the advisory first,
Mhm.
so that they are on board with what their team are doing. If they don't know what the team are doing, it's going to be a mismatch. So they learn first, then they identify a leader. The leader then starts to learn, and then the team start to learn after that. So it's kind of like a process where it's again one step at a time. You can't transition a business, at the drop of a hat. It does take time. It takes time for the owner to let go.
Right.
Like we've said about the mindset shift. It's difficult for the owner to let go sometimes.
Right.
They are the central focus of accounting firms, and often the team will look to them and depend on them for all the questions and the way that they behave and the way that they act. But actually, if the business owner can start delivering advisory, then start to empower someone in their team to join them, start to take ownership,
Right.
then empower more team members to take ownership. There's a gradual shift in the change. And then eventually the team don't always look to the owner for the answers. They actually start
Right.
answering themselves. And that's the key part. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, you start with the owner, you have to. If they're already delivering advisory, great. But what you need is a consistent method of delivering. You need those systems to be in place where you can follow processes. So you may
Right.
have a group of strategists that you work with clients. You might have, I don't know, you might help some clients clear debt. You might help some clients pay themselves more from the business. You might have other clients who struggle from the tax perspective and don't ever build up a tax reserve. You might have other clients that struggle with employing the right team members to build their business, or to they might be builders, so it might be having a bricklaying team, all those kind of problems. But you might have people in your team that have dealt with those things before, and the owner probably has. So it's sharing that knowledge down and setting the process up for, okay, so we've got someone who's in high debt. We need to help them get out of that as fast as possible. What's the process we follow? Oh, yeah, that's the debt management process. So having those in place
Mhm.
massively helps. Certain strategies that you can follow. because you're going to get a lot of clients that have got debt. It's just the reality of the world right now, isn't it? So if you've got a process to help them, it's not all on the owner, because then the team leader can have a look at it, the team can look at it, and anyone can start to deliver. And
Right,
and that's, I think, the kind of twist on that, where you
right.
can help.
Totally agree with you. So the first point is, the owner has to prepare, and give that knowledge sharing, to create that leader first of all, and then
Yes,
he has, some controls over there so that he can, you know, check those points as well, that yes, my leaders are working properly. Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yes, thank you, Tim. Thank you. So here, I just want to take a shift to the branding aspect. See, I have also reached out to you because you are so, active on the LinkedIn and YouTube and all. So I was just saying, "Arey, who is this man? Oh, he's doing so great on LinkedIn and all." So see, as a branding and executive coach for CACPAs, I strongly believe is that technical expertise alone does not build a global brand. So, from your perspective, team, how important is personal branding for accountants or the advisory firm owners? Yeah,
I personally, I think it's very important. I think it's, you have to have yourself out there these days. There's there's so much noise on social media. There's so much going on these days, but at the moment, it's still all free. It's free advertising. When I started, it was Yale.com, which was a fact that, like, yellow pages online. You had to pay a fortune
Yeah.
to advertise yourself. Now
okay,
we've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn. It's all free, and we can put as much on there as we like. So I personally believe, yes, personal branding is really important, but if I was running the accounting practice now, yes, I might be the face of the marketing. But I would be talking about what my team do. I wouldn't just do it all about me, because otherwise, as you can imagine, the prospects that you bring in are going to only want to work with you because they're they're buying into, because they like what they're seeing, they like what you're saying, and they want to work with you. So my messaging would be about what my team deliver, what my clients' outcomes from my team. So
super,
it's
super
very clear
point.
to anyone listening. Okay, he's the face, but his team do a lot of the delivery. So there's no confusion when they sign up to work with you.
Correct, 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 correct. So it is more towards the team at the same time as for the personal branding. So you have to mix and match with the
Yeah,
yourself as well as yourself and your team member as well. Is it correct, right?
yeah,
So
well, yeah, I
yes,
believe
yeah,
so. Yeah,
yeah,
I believe so. Why not? Why not?
yeah.
The
Perfect,
more you put
perfect.
out there, the
Sounds
more
good.
people can consume.
Yes, 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 Tim. So, with the help of this branding, personal branding, can this advisory firm charge premium to their clients?
Yes,
Is it helping to charge the premium?
yes, yes. It can be done. It can be done. Like I say,
Um,
it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It takes time,
it
but you
takes
can
time.
charge
Yeah, yeah.
premium fees. You can charge premium fees. I've watched people in the last membership start off low, move up, and I've guided them through the process to charge the premium fees.
Super,
It's all
super.
possible. Everything's possible. We have to just believe in the process that we can do it. But yes, without doubt.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as world is shifting towards the AI, right? So I just want to bring that into conversation as well. So what do you think? How is it changing the advisory services right now?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity, because if AI can take care of most of the compliance work, if not all of the compliance work in time, obviously there has to be an accuracy check, of course,
Hmm.
but if AI can take care of the compliance tasks, then there could be practices out there with all these people that deliver the technical stuff that are going to be free to
Right,
deliver advisory. What a great opportunity. You've got all these team members that are going to be able to just look at this information
right,
that AI's created for them, assuming it's correct. Obviously, we have to just make sure of that side. They're going to have all that opportunity to deliver to the clients. Of course, let's be realistic. Not every business owner out there wants to have all this advice. They're not going to all buy into it.
Hmm.
But I mean, there's millions and millions of businesses worldwide, isn't there, that are going to be out there for us. There's plenty of advisory work to go around for all of the
Yeah.
accountants and bookkeepers. I would be looking at AI as a fantastic opportunity for us to move forward. I don't believe AI can provide advisory in the way that humans can.
Yeah.
Some people will use AI, of course they will, but I don't think we should fear that, because we need to be at the forefront of this, and we need to be saying, yeah,
Obviously.
bring it on. We're going to deliver advisory. We're going to have the conversations. AI is going to do the
Yeah.
grunt work, perhaps behind the scenes.
Right, because AI's brain is limited, right? But human brain is, at it infinity. So yes, obviously human is more than AI at any, any time, even
Yes,
after the
agreed.
20 years as well. So, as per your experience, Tim, so what do you think? Which parts of the accounting firm, should firms be automating right away? And if I talk about the other side, which parts do you think should always stay with the human?
Yeah, I think the data entry aspect is virtually gone now, hasn't it? I think AI is in, whether it's ready right now, but it's going to be in a position, isn't it, where it's going to go all the way through to probably producing final accounts and final, income and expenditure statements for sole
Right,
traders, etc., and then probably go forward into submitting returns. But there has to be an element of human control of this. There has to be sense checks,
right.
because we've all been. I was there when computer software first came in.
Mhm.
I used to write up manual accounts handwritten. On extending the trial balance myself. So debits and credits, I used to. That was when I loved it. If I'm
Mhm.
honest with you, it went computerized, and I lost my love for producing accounts in many ways, because it wasn't a work of art. I saw it as a work of art before. So we've gone through these changes,
Right,
and every time we go through these changes, we should see the opportunity that it creates, which is more time for us to be able to deliver advisory for me. And if you've
right.
got a team, even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, AI is it's going to be endless, isn't it? It's going to keep coming and
Mm.
keep coming and keep coming.
Yeah.
Accuracy is going
So,
to be the key.
uh,
How accurate is it? How
yeah.
correct is it? How do we check that? That's
Yeah.
the areas I think we're probably still not quite solved yet.
So, even I also have around 10 years of experience. So I started my career, 10 years back. So at that point of time, we have to learn the skills like, how to prepare the PPT, how to work in the Word document and the Excel. But now as the AI comes, so these all, skill set has been redundant by the AI, because you can just give the command to AI and you
Yeah.
get the product. So yes, these skills, which we learned, 10 years back, are not useful now. Yeah.
Super,
No,
super.
it's just the way of the world, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
moving so fast, but I think if we fear it, we're just going to set ourselves up to fail. So I think we have to embrace it. And there's going to be
Right.
lots of people listening that are probably fearful of AI, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But you just have to think, look at the opportunity,
Right. We have to
spin it
adapt.
on
Correct,
its
We
head,
have
correct.
look
to
at the
adapt with the
opportunity it's
time.
going to
Yeah.
create.
And the opportunity.
Yeah,
Totally echo with the
yeah,
point. Yeah.
So we have to focus on the opportunities,
Right.
the positive mindset.
that's right.
So the team over here, we have discussed lots of things, and before concluding, so there are some points which I really like related to the mindset. Then the you have discussed about the leadership. Then again coming back to the AI and your stories, it is very amazing and very informative insights you have shared. So here, before concluding our podcast, so I want you to share one piece of advice for a new accounting entrepreneurs who want to build, scale, and sell their firm. So what would be that?
Create your team.
Team.
Create the
Okay.
team. Yeah, that's the answer. Create the team.
Team.
Don't build a business solely dependent on yourself. Create the team.
Super, super. So
That's
thank
what
you.
stops you
Yeah,
scaling.
yeah.
Yeah.
If it's
So
all
we
on
have
you.
from team. It is coming. The one advice is build a team.
Yes.
Super. So, Tim, this has been such a valuable conversation. Thank you so much for taking time to share your insights with us. To everyone listening, thank you for turning in. And if you found this episode useful, don't forget to subscribe and share with someone who actually need this. That's all for today's episode. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.